news in Boston. WBZ News at 5 starts right now. Boston mourned the loss of two heroes.
How unspeakably sad this loss is.
Two men who died trying to save others.
We protect our brothers as best we can. We protect our brothers as best as we can.
A sacrifice this city will never forget.
People touched by the heroism and the sacrifice of two firefighters. These are live pictures from the Boylston Street Firehouse, where people have been leaving tributes throughout the day. Boston is a city filled with sadness and grasping for answers. I'm Paula Evans.
And I'm Jonathan Elias. It's good to have you along this evening. The Boston Fire Department is facing two very difficult tasks. First, they are mourning the loss of two of their brothers, while at the same time they are trying to find out what caused their deaths. Investigators were hoping to get inside the Beacon Street building where the firefighters were killed, but that didn't happen today, or maybe it did, but the building we know is so unstable that parts continue to burn inside, and they're not sure if the building will hold up on other parts. Now, the firefighters are comforting each other with stories and memories of Lieutenant Ed Walsh and firefighter Michael Kennedy. They're also touched by the tributes pouring in from all over Boston.
And we will remember the fallen and show you those tributes. But our coverage tonight begins with the investigation. Chief Correspondent Joe Shortsleeve is live for us tonight at the scene of the fire. Joe?
You know, Paula, we know tonight that the first report of a fire yesterday was a 911 call, someone reporting smoke in the building. We also know tonight that building had no sprinklers, technically not required, but boy, they sure could have made a difference yesterday. The focus tonight is the flames and the 45-mile-an-hour winds. From the river, you can see the ice-encrusted shell, which housed 8 units. Yesterday, for some unknown reason, the brownstone exploded in flames, claiming the lives of two brave firefighters. Killed 43-year-old Lieutenant Ed Walsh and 33-year-old Michael Kennedy, who both worked just a few blocks away at the fire station on Boylston Street. Today, firefighters could be seen high above Beacon Street, inspecting the roof of the burnt-out structure.
It was scary.
Nate Fletcher lives directly across the street and took in terrified residents who escaped the burning building.
They said they smelled smoke, saw fire, and then just got out.
Investigators believe the two firefighters became trapped in a massive surge of heat and flames known as a backdraft. They believe it happened when a window broke in the front of the 4-story brownstone about 3 p.m. Wednesday.
There was some kind of extraordinary events happened in the basement.
When the flames exploded, firefighters could be heard on the radio, desperately trying to get everyone out.
Engine 33 has a mayday on channel 2 in the basement. Engine 33 is mayday on channel 2 in the basement, okay? I want all members out of the building.
It was a mayday, would indicate something extraordinary happened.
WBZ has learned there are 2 apartments in the walkout basement area on the river side of the building where Kennedy and Walsh became trapped. WBZ has also learned there's a heating unit, a laundry room, and an elevator located right there. The elevator was installed in 1996. All are possible sources of the fire. Investigators from the Boston Fire Department and the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office say the formal investigation could take months. Now, we've also learned tonight that this building is owned by a family trust, and that trust has been the subject of a nasty legal battle going all the way back to 1987. The lawyer for the trust tells us tonight that they are cooperating with the investigation. Live in Boston, Joe Shortsleeve, WBZ News. Paula?
Joe, thank you. A sad ritual today outside the Boylston Street Firehouse where the two fallen firefighters worked. Their colleagues hung black bunting, a sign that they have suffered a terrible loss. All day long, people have been leaving tributes outside that firehouse. Our John Keller is live on Boylston Street with that part of the story. John?
Lisa, tragedy and the public mourning that accompanies it have become an all-too-frequent and unwanted visitor here to the Back Bay. It's the second time in a year we've been reporting on a makeshift memorial in this neighborhood, and all day long behind me here at the firehouse, it has been the epicenter of an outpouring of community grief. Yesterday, climbing ladders was part of the job for the men of Engine 33 Ladder 15. Today, it was part of a day of mourning that began with tearful tributes from their peers.
We protect our brothers as best we can. We protect our brothers as best as we can. And we just try to get home. We just try to get home. We want these guys to go home just like their families do.
The tears flowed freely on Boylston Street as a steady stream of firefighters from around the region paid their respects.
I know what those brave men did go through and the tragedies that they're faced with all the time. And it's just miraculous that more of them weren't hurt and or suffered serious injuries. So we're just grateful that it was limited, but certainly it's tragic.
And then there were the regular folks, including families with a sad lesson to teach their kids.
It's sacrifice, you know. Sometimes you have to do things that are unsafe to save other people, and, you know, it comes with the job.
This little boy left a card that read, "Thank you, people who were trying to put out the fire." And inside the firehouse, where our camera was invited in, the food deliveries were piling up as the firefighters went about their business. A fallen comrade's locker, mute testimony to their loss.
It shows you that the public does like firefighters. They respect us, and I really appreciate everything that the public's doing for us. I talked to the guys in there. They said, we just want to go back out the door and do our job, because Eddie and Mike would want it that way.
I did have an opportunity during the day-to-day to speak off camera at their request with a couple of the firefighters. They're clearly in shock. They certainly welcomed visits today by Mayor Walsh and Governor Patrick, who met privately with them. But what especially seemed to touch them were the visits from people they don't even know and their neighbors, and we'll bring you more of their interaction with their neighbors here in the Back Bay coming up at 6. For now, live in the Back Bay, John Keller at large, WBZ News. Paula, Jonathan, back to you.
We appreciate it, John. Thanks. Flags are lowered everywhere. One of our producers took these pictures of flags at half-staff outside Quincy City Hall and the Quincy Fire Department.
The two firefighters that we lost loved their jobs, but they joined the fire department from different worlds. Michael Kennedy was 33 years old, a combat veteran who served our country in the Marine Corps. He lived in Hyde Park. He had been with the department for 6.5 years. And as Katie Brace shows us, giving back to others was a very big part of his life.
This one right here was my favorite.
After learning about firefighter Michael Kennedy's death, 14-year-old Alex Bazil put up these photos of his big brother. The two were paired up through the Big Brother, Big Sister program 7 years ago.
And he told me that he loved me. And I told him I love him too.
That is his favorite memory. Alex says Kennedy inspired him. He served as a Marine, loved fitness, and of course, was a firefighter.
I told him that since he's a fireman, I want to be a police officer, so one day we're working back side by side.
Kennedy set an example for many people. Those here who knew Michael Kennedy tell me his passion for fighting fires was only matched by his love of helping those suffering from severe burns, especially children.
That's all I keep seeing is his eyes, his smile.
Phillips Graybutt works out of this Dorchester firehouse. He was a good friend and represents the Boston Firefighters Burn Foundation. Kennedy was very involved and visited hospital burn units.
He'd walk into the room and he knew he was there to make those kids smile. Mike knew the language of being a kid. And he would just walk in, pick up a toy, and if he couldn't speak with the kid, he would stop playing.
Kennedy also spent Tuesday night helping host the American Burn Association conference that's in Boston this week.
The guy's good. One of the biggest hearts I've ever seen in an individual.
Now those who were touched by Kennedy are trying to live up to the example he set. Katie Brace, WBZ News.
And as for Lieutenant Ed Walsh, he was a very dedicated family man.
He was married with 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, all under the age of 10. He was 43 years old and had been on the department for 9.5 years. As Christina Hager tells us, for Walsh, firefighting was the family business.
Lieutenant Ed Walsh had been with the Boston Fire Department for almost a decade. Police outside his home where there were visits from firefighters, one man coming out with a salute and a lowering of the family's flag halfway down.
Our condolences go out to all the family, and especially those 3 little kids that are without their dad now.
This the morning after the men of Engine 33 walked along both sides of his hearse from the hospital to the morgue. 2 of Walsh's 3 young children attended school today, where there were grief counselors at the ready.
That shows that they will survive, and we're going to make sure they survive, and the support.
There are flags at half-staff like this all over the Commonwealth, but this hits home particularly hard here in Watertown, where Walsh comes from a long line of firefighters. His late father, Ed Walsh, in the middle, 2 uncles, Bill and Tom, all Watertown firefighters. One of Walsh's cousins is a captain here, and there are countless friends.
It's just a sadness that something like that happens, knowing that it could happen to any of you at any time. So it kind of makes the job a little more real.
Someone stopped to leave a wreath and flags at a memorial here. Another fallen son of Watertown. Another fallen hero of Boston and beyond. Christina Hager, WBZ News.
13 firefighters in all had to be treated at local hospitals for the injuries they suffered fighting this fire. Some were burned. Some hurt their shoulders and legs when the force of that backdraft knocked them down, and others needed treatment for heat exhaustion. Most are back home now. 3 firefighters do remain in the hospital. And the Boylston Street Firehouse sits just a few blocks away from the Berkeley College of Music.
And this afternoon, some students decided to use their talents to show the firefighters that they can turn to the people of Boston for support.
Call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. Have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. And I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, boy. It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
It's a nice gesture. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I was down on Beacon Street last night, ran into a fire captain I've known for a while, and he had this numb look in his eyes, and he just said, I wish there was more we could have done. I wish, he kept reliving the moment, trying to think what they could have done, and that's the kind of guilt they just don't need. This is a very dangerous job, and yesterday ran right into it, and in the process, saving lives. It just...
We have a live picture now. This is the growing memorial outside of the firehouse, and I think from those college kids singing to the families we've seen going by, how difficult for the city of Boston for the second time this year. A memorial in Boylston Street, inextricably linked between what happened on Marathon Monday and these firefighters who died yesterday. They had helped victims. People in Boston find at moments like this, it's a big, small town. It's a very tight-knit community where these kinds of displays of appreciation and affection seem necessary at a time like this.
To let you know, too, a fund has been established for Lieutenant Walsh and Firefighter Kennedy. Donations can be sent to the Boston Firefighters Credit Union. It's 60 Howlett Street, Dorchester. The zip code is 02124. You can also make a donation by credit card on Boss Fire CU. That's for the credit union, so it's bossfirecu.com. Now, if this information, if you don't have a pen in your hand, don't worry about it. We posted all of this information on our website. You can find that at cbsboston.com.
As the city mourns its loss and looks for answers, stay with WBZ for continuing coverage.
And coming up for us, the danger of the backdraft. We're going to go inside the training that firefighters get to deal with this dangerous phenomenon.
Plus, in other news tonight, the search for the Malaysian Airlines plane, the tantalizing new clues, and what's keeping crews from retrieving any possible debris.
And battered and bruised after being hit by a snowplow that never stopped. The new clue that could help police finally find the driver a month after this accident.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Harlem Globetrotters, playing at TD Garden on Saturday, March 29th and Sunday, March 30th. Purchase tickets at the box office or online at Ticketmaster.com.
A man pioneers a way to see the unseen. Radar, forever providing safer journeys. The Mazda 6 uses radar in its available class-exclusive suite of 7 safety features for greater confidence behind the wheel. Introducing the Mazda 6. What do you drive? Now, lease the 2014 Mazda 6 Sport for $199 a month for 36 months.
Imagine finding the furniture you love at low sale prices. Now imagine upgrading to your choice of fabric at no extra charge. It's all possible at the Boston Interiors Custom Upholstery Sale. All our upholstery is made in the USA from quality materials you can trust to last. And this month only, it's all on sale. All chairs, sofas, sleepers, and sectionals. Plus, custom order any available fabric at the same price as stock. Come in soon and save. Sale ends March 31st. curiosity and a certain sense of adventure. It doesn't matter where it takes you, only that you go. Sometimes we just forget it's there. And sometimes your best adventures begin with someone who can see you're up for one. Nova Scotia, take yourself there.
Hey, hey, baby, you're the one that I love. Hey, hey, baby, you're the one that I'm always thinking of. I'm always thinking.
Introducing the all-new 2014 Subaru XV Crosstrek Hybrid, the most fuel-efficient all-wheel drive hybrid crossover in America. Well-equipped for only $25,995.
A crucial clue. Police say this snowplow hit a man a month ago and then just kept on going. And for weeks, police have been trying to track down that driver, but without any luck.
That surveillance picture could break the case. As Ken McLeod tells us, the man who was hit faces a long recovery, and he is furious about what happened.
His two shattered legs still confine him to a wheelchair, but the memories are equally painful.
I didn't want to be dead. So I was like saying, like, God, please help me.
Curvin's Elise is talking about what happened to him on February 27th, a hit and run at the Lunenburg-Fitchburg line that nearly killed him. Curvin's car was in the shop, so he was walking to his factory job that morning in the pre-dawn darkness when something barreled into him from behind here on Summer Street.
You're gonna see the truck coming eastbound.
Police have now rounded up some grainy surveillance video which shows a pickup truck plow approaching the accident scene.
Right there.
The impact is not on video, but another camera captured that pickup briefly hitting the brakes immediately afterward and then taking off.
The pickup truck actually stopped after hitting the pedestrian and then took off rapidly.
Just moments later, another motorist adds insult to injury by stopping for several seconds, only to drive away with Curvin sprawled on a snowbank, afraid he'd be run over again.
I was like laying down on the ground and then like yelling for help. I was yelling like, please, somebody help me. My two legs are broken.
But a big break came when dogged detectives located this home security video from around the corner. Good enough to tell the fleeing pickup is a white 1999 to 2003 single cab Chevy or GMC with a yellow plow. Police hope it'll be enough to summon calls from tipsters, but Curvin's hopes it doesn't come to that.
What I want to happen to him, I want him to come forward by himself.
After a month of silence, though, that seems unlikely. It'll be another month until Curvins is out of rehab and able to walk again with his medical bills nearing $200 grand. In Fitchburg, Ken McLeod, WBZ News.
One of the people wanted for the murder of a Waltham High School student has been arrested. U.S. Marshals arrested Taylor Poulin, the man here on the right, last night in Windham, Maine. Police are still looking for the second man, Domingo Mendez. Authorities say they shot and killed Tyler Zanko last week in the parking lot of a Waltham apartment complex. The Boston Globe reports that Zanko and his friends were trying to rob Poulin because of a bad drug deal. The New Hampshire Attorney General has finally identified the two people killed in a house explosion in Manchester, and he's calling their deaths a homicide. Constance and Robert Dion were killed in the blast in their home on Mooresville Road. Authorities now are trying to find the couple's adult son, Matthew. He hasn't been seen since shortly before the explosion on Monday. Talk about the weather situation, and finally today you could tell there was a change in the right direction. It's just a little warmer, but still this wind is just killing us.
Bright sun, which was so nice. Tomorrow we lose the sun, but at least a little improvement.
A little bit warmer. We'll get into the 50s, all right, so we're getting there.
Just get rid of this wind.
Surely. The wind is, it's a March and April staple, unfortunately. And this run that we've seen, take a look at Worcester. All the Worcesterites, they got good news and bad news. Good news is you fall into the second spot. The bad news is the list is coldest Marches ever recorded. The second coldest through this date, and I think we'll fall just a little bit more before things wrap up in the last few days here. The current temperatures, it is 38 there in Worcester. It's as well 38 in New Bedford. Boston checking in at 46. It's not warm outside, but we had the sunshine, and certainly better than what we saw yesterday. Off to the south, there is some milder air. You take a look at Pittsburgh, and down toward Roanoke, you've got the 50s, and that's the air mass that's heading our direction tonight and into tomorrow. We've got the mainly clear skies right now for you cirrus floating in overhead. The main meat and potatoes of the storm is still back toward the Mississippi River Valley, and a lot of that energy is going to head off toward north and west. All we'll end up with are some showers and a gusty breeze around here. So for tonight, increasing clouds. There could be a little bit of freezing drizzle and a couple of snowflakes late tonight as we take a look at how this all play out. Just brushing the areas across Worcester County, Route 2 corridor, and into southern New Hampshire. There are winter weather advisories here. Not expecting a lot. Just be extra cautious. Really late tonight and for tomorrow morning. Could be a couple of slick spots here and there. And then timing the rain showers tomorrow. We'll actually get a little bit of sunshine to start the day. By midday, we're becoming mostly cloudy, and then the rain showers break out after midday. So through the afternoon and the evening, hit or miss rain showers, a couple of brief, heavier downpours. Make sure you have your umbrella before you leave the house, and those will persist through the evening and into the first half of the overnight before they all settle off toward the south. In terms of the wind, gusty out of the southwest tomorrow. Not as bad as we've seen, but 20 to 35 mile per hour gusts. Again, out of the south-southwest, bring in that milder air, maybe taking a bit of enjoyment out of the temperatures, but we'll take them. High near 55 in Boston, 51 Fitchburg tomorrow, Keene to 49, same story in Chatham. While that snow will be melting out across the Cape. Now for this weekend, we've got another storm we're eyeing. This is going to move toward the coast. This one's going to get cut off from the jet stream energy, which means it's going to sit near us and it's going to camp out for a few days. So what we're expecting is the rain to develop again Saturday afternoon into the evening. Temperatures do get to the 50s before then, and Saturday morning looks okay if you want to get outside. Sunday, though, heavy rain, cold temperatures will stay in the 30s. It'll be windy, maybe some spots of flooding. We're also going to have to watch the coast, and this should stick around to Monday as well. We'll talk more about some of the issues we have to face with that coming up next half hour. Jonathan?
Eric, we'll see you then. Thanks. New evidence. Search crews are looking in the right spot now for the missing Malaysian Airlines plane.
Satellites from Japan and Thailand have both spotted possible debris in the Indian Ocean, but nothing's been recovered yet. As Susan McGinnis shows us, weather has become the search crew's biggest obstacle.
New satellite images from Japan and Thailand give more hope that searchers may be closing in on the location of the missing Malaysian Airlines jet. These grainy images from Thailand show hundreds of objects floating near an area where planes and ships have been searching for Flight 370. The objects were spotted about 1,600 miles west of Perth, Australia. It is also about 125 miles from the area where a French satellite spotted 122 objects on Sunday. But experts caution there is a lot of junk floating in the southern Indian Ocean, making it hard to find the wreckage.
We've got a situation in which you're looking not for a needle in a haystack, but a needle in a needle factory. You're looking for trash in an ocean full of trash.
Search planes didn't get very much time in the area Thursday. High winds, heavy rain, and low clouds forced officials to call them back to base. Susan McGinnis, CBS News.
Even when the weather clears, though, there is no guarantee the crews will retrieve anything. That area of the ocean is notorious for its rough seas. Well, tonight, a drastic move by Governor Patrick. What he's doing to take on a critical health emergency.
Plus, an historic day at the Vatican. The President and the Pope meet for the first time. Now here's Jack and Lisa with what's coming up at 6.
Jonathan, Paula, thank you so much. You know, many people are commenting on the bravery of the firefighters who responded to that inferno on Boylston Street.
Among them, Tom Brady, who lives nearby. Tonight, his thoughts about his loss and his thanks to the firefighters.
Should have said Beacon Street, firehouse on Boylston Street. And a WBZ exclusive, researchers from Woods Hole at the ready to help with the search for that missing Malaysian Airlines plane.
And why they're so confident tonight that search teams are getting close to finding it. That's coming up at 6.
Hey, Steve. Those my lights? When you get a new Buick, you want to show it off. You're invited to the Buick Open House event, where for the first time, select 2014 Buick models are specially priced, so you can get thousands off MSRP. Current non-GM owners use your special value pricing to lease this 2014 Verano for around $199 per month. Find your dealer at BuickDealer.com.
Winter's in full swing, and Butchika's in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire is your place to gear up for ski and snowboarding this year. Come in, get expert advice from our knowledgeable and experienced staff, browse our huge selection, and take advantage of our low prices on the latest equipment. Plus, get a lift ticket to J Peak with the purchase of any ski or snowboard package over $499. J Peak, the most snow in Eastern North America. Butchika's Ski Shop, your skiing and riding connection, on Route 28 in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire.
All this week, Reed's Ferry Sheds are 10% off. Every Reed's Ferry Shed, 10% off list price now through Sunday, April 13th. See 5 acres of sheds on display at Reed's Ferry. Get better quality than the box store and save 10% on the shed price. Go online to reedsferry.com. Order this week and Save 10% during the spring sale.
Call 888-85-SHED.
10% off a Reed's Ferry shed. You got a good one.
The sun is setting on the Toyota #1 for everyone national sales event. The final days to save with #1 deals so everyone can drive away with legendary Toyota value. Final days to get a #1 Prius C lease for a lowest ever $97 a month with no cost maintenance included. Or current Toyota owners can get 0 for 60 plus $12.50 bonus cash on a Prius liftback. #1 for everyone ends March 31st. Toyota. Let's go places.
Time to buy a Honda Accord?
We don't call it the Spring Into a Honda sales event for nothing.
What makes this Accord so special?
Review camera, Bluetooth, Pandora compatibility, all standard.
I'm not convinced.
It's an IIHS 2014 top safety pick.
There's a bear behind you.
Way to stay on your toes, Robert.
This is not a drill. Get a great deal during the Spring Into a Honda sales event. Now, at your Honda dealer.
This day at the Vatican, President Obama meets Pope Francis for the first time. And naturally, the two men were polite and cordial when they came face to face.
Yeah, but when it comes to some of the most controversial issues of the day, the leaders have some sharp differences. Alfonso Van Marsh is in the Vatican tonight.
President Obama bowed as he shook hands with Pope Francis. It was the first meeting between the two world leaders. The President and the Pope discussed how to fight poverty in a private meeting in the Papal Library that ran longer than scheduled. After the 50-minute chat, the leaders gave each other gifts. The President presented Pope Francis with a chest of seeds from the White House garden.
First cathedral.
And the Pope gave the President a book of his writing.
I will treasure this.
The President and Pope Francis did not talk in detail about the issue of birth control and the controversial contraception requirement in the Affordable Care Act. But the President did discuss it with the Vatican Secretary of State. In a news conference with Italy's Prime Minister, the President said he was honored to have met Pope Francis.
I've been incredibly moved by his compassion, his message of inclusion.
The President wrapped up his 4-day European trip with a tour of Rome's famed Colosseum. But he said meeting Pope Francis was the most inspiring part of his journey, and he invited the pontiff to visit the White House. Alfonso Van Marsh, CBS News, the Vatican.
A new report on the staggering numbers of children with autism.
One reason why doctors think there's an increase and the group being diagnosed more than ever before.
Plus, baggage thefts at LAX. Who is stealing from travelers passing through that very busy airport?
And the danger of backdraft. The training firefighters go through to handle the tough conditions that took 2 lives on Beacon Street.
Today's a sad day for the city of Boston. We lost 2 heroes.
It is the worst possible news. 2 Boston firefighters have been killed.
It's something that none of us want to see. In 30 years, I've never seen a fire travel that fast.
Prayers and my thoughts go out to the families.
Lieutenant Ed Walsh and firefighter Michael Kennedy.
With heavy hearts, a lot of people now are going by that station.
We wanted to help out and let them know that we appreciate what they do for us.
That's what we do. We sacrifice our life for the citizens of the city of Boston.
Today's weather on WBZ is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers.
The all-new Chevy Silverado, from the family of the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. The truck that beats any Ford F-150 in fuel economy, and the 2014 North American Truck of the Year. And now, during Chevy Truck Month, the price you see is the price you pay for a 2014 Chevy Silverado. Now use special Truck Month pricing to get a total value of over $7,500 on the Silverado All-Star Edition with best-in-class V8 fuel economy.
Visit your New England Chevy dealer. Marvin windows and doors mean more to the people that choose them because they do more for their homes than any other window. Only Marvin combines a century of industry-leading design innovation with unmatched quality, durability, and energy efficiency for exceptional value. Which Marvin will be your Marvin?
Visit the Marvin Design Gallery by NSWS for your next project. Our experienced staff will measure, deliver, and professionally install your new windows and doors for a simple, hassle-free experience. Contact Marvin Design Gallery by NSWS today.
Tonight's primetime lineup is brought to you by the all-new 2014 Jeep Cherokee, a 2013 top IIHS safety pick.
Are
lost interest in your usual activities? Have you noticed a change in your sleeping and eating habits? Doctors at the Depression Clinical and Research Program at Massachusetts General Hospital are working to develop new antidepressant treatments and studying the treatments that are currently available. Eligible participants will receive psychiatric evaluation, study treatment, and regular visits with study clinicians at no cost. For more information, call 1-855-75-BLUES or online at massgeneral.org/depression.
I was impressed with how many great reviews they had.
What makes CertaPro different is that our people really care about making our customers happy.
They asked what they could do to make painting an extraordinary experience for us. And they kept the gate latched.
We work from a personalized written certainty pledge.
CertaPro painters did a wonderful job. They respected our lifestyle and our home.
It's about 5-star craftsmanship and having truly satisfied customers. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, because painting is personal.
Now at 5:30, the Firefighter Tragedy in Boston. Investigators now working to figure out how the deadly fire on Beacon Street started. They are examining the building's laundry room, heat sources, and elevator as possible sources of this fire.
At the Boylston Street Firehouse, people have been leaving flowers and cards to show their gratitude for the sacrifice of the Boston Fire Department.
Killed in the fire, Lieutenant Ed Walsh and firefighter Michael Kennedy. A phenomenon called a backdraft is blamed in the firefighters' deaths. We know that a backdraft knocked at least one firefighter down the front steps of the burning building.
Tonight, Michael Rosenfield shows us the training firefighters go through to handle this type of threat.
As the investigation into the devastating Beacon Street fire goes on, authorities say a possible backdraft may have led to the tragic deaths of the 2 firefighters in the basement. Watch as a huge fireball suddenly forms near the windows.
It's an explosive force that can, if they're close enough, it will kill them, or can result in some serious injuries. And then the fire really takes off rapidly.
Don Bliss, Vice President of the National Fire Protection Association in Quincy and former State Fire Marshal in New Hampshire, says backdrafts are intense, quick, and violent.
It doesn't happen in every fire, but it's always a potential.
Documents obtained by WBZ-TV show an elevator was built into the building in the 90s. And while Bliss says a vertical shaft may have contributed to spreading the fire, it likely did not play a part in a backdraft, which typically takes place when there's a sudden rush of oxygen into an oxygen-depleted room.
Then when either a window breaks or someone opens the door and oxygen and fresh air gets infused into that space, you can actually have an explosion or a very, very rapid ignition, and that's what a backdraft is.
While it's still unclear what exactly went wrong, and it could take weeks to identify what happened, the association says a backdraft is one of the most dangerous situations a firefighter can face. From Quincy, Michael Rosenfield, WBZ News.
One of the people stopping by the Boylston Street Firehouse today was a veteran Somerville firefighter who knows the risks the firefighters face every day.
They paid the ultimate price. Who knows? Down the road, could be me. We don't think in that way when we come to work. We think about the people that we service on a daily, and that's all we do.
Former police commissioner and WBZ security analyst Ed Davis says this tragedy is personal for all first responders and their families.
The whole range of first responders here in the city, police, fire, the medical response, all of those men and women put themselves in harm's way every day, and this just brings it home. But having this tragedy where 2 firefighters are lost in such close proximity to the West Roxbury fire, where 2 firefighters were lost, it's just unspeakable.
That fire that he referred to happened back in 2007. Paul Cahill and Warren Payne were fighting a restaurant fire in West Roxbury when the roof there collapsed. 15 firefighters trapped inside. Cahill and Payne could not be saved. 5 years ago, Lieutenant Kevin Kelly was killed in a ladder truck crash on Mission Hill. He and his crew were returning from a routine medical call when something went wrong. That truck slammed into a building. The accident exposed serious problems within the fire department in how it maintained its vehicles.
Boston's fallen firefighters are being honored on the U.S. Senate floor today. Late this afternoon, U.S. Senator Ed Markey paid tribute to the heroism of Ed Walsh and Michael Kennedy.
Lieutenant Walsh and firefighter Kennedy are American heroes.
Their memories will live on forever as everlasting examples of the extraordinary courage and dedication that is at the very heart of the Boston Fire Department.
Executives with the One Fund are expressing condolences to the families of the fallen firefighters and encouraging everyone to support the fund set up in their memories. Donations can be made to the Lieutenant Walsh Firefighter Kennedy Memorial, both of them. It's a fund at the Boston Firefighters Credit Union that's been put together today. The address is 60 Hallett Street in Dorchester, zip code 02124. You can also make a donation by credit card on Boss Fire CU, that's bossfirecreditunion.com. And we posted all of this information on our website. You can get there anytime you'd like at cbsboston.com.
Stay with us for continuing coverage as Boston honors its fallen heroes.
Moving on now, we don't have to worry about any snow at this point, but don't expect it to really warm up either. Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher here now with his AccuWeather forecast, and we're due for a warm. You got to admit.
Well, it's warm a little bit, just a little bit, and we'll take it whenever we can get here. You know, another weather system that's off to our west and out ahead of it. Southwesterly winds that brings in some of that milder air. It's not hot, it's not beach weather, but it'll do. We've got a couple of snow showers across Burlington into northern Vermont, and some rain showers in western New York. Most of this will bypass us as we head through tonight. That'd be just a couple of snowflakes or a touch of freezing drizzle. Fitchburg area up into southern New Hampshire and Vermont. We're traveling here late tonight. Watch out for that. Otherwise, temperatures do hold in the 30s as that milder air starts to make some inroads and works its way toward us. Now, tomorrow afternoon, we've got 50s for much of the region. There will be some rain showers after lunchtime, but at least we get into the warmer stuff. And those rain showers are just the start of what's going to be a pretty wet weekend. We're watching Saturday afternoon through Monday. There's potential for 2 to 4 inches of rain in that time frame, especially Saturday night and Sunday. There will be some flooding concerns. We'll talk about those more in depth coming up. Jonathan?
Eric, we'll see you then. Thanks. Governor Patrick is declaring a public health emergency to try and bring the drug epidemic under control. There have been at least 140 overdose deaths in just the last several months. So the governor wants all first responders to be able to use Narcan. It is the drug that can reverse an overdose. He also wants to temporarily ban pharmacies from dispensing some prescription painkillers that are too often abused. He also wants the state to require prescription monitoring by pharmacies and doctors to try and detect signs of abuse.
The woman who found the bodies of the 3 people allegedly murdered by Tamerlan Tsarnaev and Ibrahim Todashev has her doubts about Todashev's confession. The FBI report into the shooting of Todashev included part of his handwritten confession into those Waltham murders. In it, Todashev wrote that the 3 victims' hands were tied up. But the woman who found the bodies tells Boston Magazine that's not how she remembers it. The note also suggests the victims were lying down on the ground. People who were in the crime scene say it appeared that there had been a struggle. Well, jewelry, electronics, and more. LA police uncover a ring of thieves who'd been stealing from luggage at the airport.
And the Washington State mudslide, the new images giving us a much clearer view of the devastation there.
Here's your Peabody Essex Museum Arts Update. See what's on display this week. Celebrate over 200 examples of California design from 1930 to 1965. Only at the Peabody Essex Museum in Salem, where art and culture meet.
Don't miss the Bach Toyota #1 for everyone sales event. Bach Toyota is the #1 Toyota dealer in sales in New England. Drive home a brand new Toyota Corolla for only $79 per month. Come on down! That's right, Lisa, brand new Toyota Corolla with automatic transmission that gets an amazing 38 miles per gallon for just $79 per month.
This is math. This is math. Math, math, and more math. Math and science are a fun, exciting part of our everyday life, and getting kids interested is key to investing in the future of America. Join Raytheon as we inspire tomorrow's innovators with math and science today. Go to mathmovesyou.com and get the resources you need in the classroom and at home to show kids how fun math can be. Math moves you. From Raytheon, it all adds up to success.
At GMC, incredible thinking always comes first, like the GMC Terrain, the first small SUV to offer an EPA-estimated 32 highway miles per gallon, the first in its class to offer a standard rear vision camera, and for the first time ever, during the GMC Open House, most 2014 GMC models are specially priced, so you can get thousands off MSRP. For this month, switch to GMC with special value pricing to lease this GMC Terrain for around $199 per month.
Find your dealer at gmcdealer.com.
Okay, show us what you got.
Picture this for your next campaign.
Okay, what Commonwealth Motors really needs, just a touch of professionalism.
Professionalism?
Am I getting your attention?
There's a tanning bed here, and the cars can get tanned too.
Wow, that was really...
Boom! Explosion.
We just need to make sure that everybody knows we're constantly checking the competition's prices to guarantee our best price possible every day.
And you always say,
Shop us last, you'll love us.
The biggest event in college basketball is here. Catch all the action this March on WBZ. Sponsored locally by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
We bought our MDX because we needed something big enough for all our adventures, yet stylish and sophisticated enough for our urban lifestyle. The MDX delivered on both. Not to mention great cargo space, third row seat, and a touch screen with text messaging. The MDX was perfect.
During the Black Tag sales event, upgrade to the all-new MDX with low lease payments or special 0.9% APR financing with a portion of the proceeds helping to support Boston Children's Hospital. Learn more online at neacuradealers.com.
At the Boylston Firehouse, you can see John Henry, the owner of the Red Sox, along with Patriots owner Robert Kraft, paying their respects to the firefighters at Engine 33, Ladder 15. It's been a very difficult day at that station.
We do know that Cardinal Sean O'Malley just paid a brief visit as well and has been there, spoken with firefighters, and left in his car. A lot of outpouring of grief from all over the city today.
A lot of support for those firefighters.
Well, search crews looking for survivors of that dreadful mudslide in Washington state are simply not finding any. Each hour that passes makes the task more grim.
It's amazing. It's 20 to 60 feet of mud is what poured over that neighborhood. And as Terry Alquita shows us, we're now getting a better idea of how massive this slide was.
Newly released photos from the King County Sheriff's Office give us a clearer view of the square mile of devastation.
You've got clay balls the size of ambulances that have rolled off that hill and smashed everything.
This is Oso, Washington before, and this the small town after Saturday's landslide. Half the town is missing, with 90 people still unaccounted for. Authorities say some places are too dangerous for rescue workers.
It is so wet and mucky, it's like a swamp.
Mac McPherson and his wife Linda were next to each other when the mudslide hit. When rescuers began to pull him out, Mac told them to help his wife instead.
She was gone.
Families are coming to terms with the fact searchers may never find their loved ones' bodies, and even more people in town know it will take a miracle to find someone alive now. Les Hagen just happens to believe in miracles. The pastor has taken his ministry into neighborhoods, counseling traumatized residents.
It's hard because you know people, and you'll never see them again.
Hagen can't bear to think about how many funerals are still to come. Terry Okita for CBS News, Arlington, Washington.
Geologists do say that the hillside is stable at this point, and there are no threats of additional mudslides, at least for now, but more rain is forecasted by this weekend.
Coming up, autism numbers continue to rise. Why researchers say children are still being diagnosed too late.
And we've got a little chance for some wintry precip tonight, 50s tomorrow, and then perhaps, at least for part of the weekend, a lot more rain in our future. We've got the details.
Beep, boop, boop, beep.
She says switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds.
Call or click today. Brian, is it true that you've sold more Chryslers than any other dealer in New England ever?
Yes, it's true.
Right now at Kelly G Chrysler on Route 1 North in Linfield during their award season event, lease a 2014 Chrysler 200 Limited for just $59 a month.
Go to kellyauto.com.
This week, don't miss the most exciting event in college basketball. Who will be stopped and who will be unstoppable? Catch all the game day action on WBZ. Sponsored locally by Nasacort Allergy 24 Hour. Stops more of what makes you miserable.
Allergy medicine not working? This may be why. Your symptoms are caused by your body's responses to allergens. Antihistamines target only one of these responses. Nasacort Allergy 24 stops more for 24-hour relief. New Nasacort stops more of what makes you miserable.
He loves skiing and skateboarding, so young Tom Sims combined them, creating a whole new way down the mountain. Uncompromising creativity. It's also how Mazda made a crossover that combines nimble handling with outstanding fuel efficiency. This is the Mazda CX-5. What do you drive? Now, we Lease the 2014 Mazda CX-5 Sport for $229 a month for 36 months.
It's the final days of the Toyota Number One for Everyone National Sales Event, where you can get Number One savings. Get a lowest ever $118 a month Corolla Sport lease with no cost maintenance included. Hurry, it ends March 31st. Toyota, let's go places.
Freedom. Floating in a moment. Weightless and carefree. It's still there inside you. Forget how you arrived or where you'll end up next. Often the times you let go are the times that stay with you forever. Nova Scotia. Take yourself there.
Brian, is it true that you've sold more Jeeps than any other dealer in New England ever?
Yes, it's true.
Right now at Kelly Jeep Chrysler on Route 1 North in Linfield during their award season event, lease a brand new 2014 Jeep Cherokee Sport for just $149 a month.
Go to kellyauto.com.
This is the Name Your Price tool. It gives you options based on your budget. It's a piece of cake. I was told there would be cake. Get a free quote at progressive.com.
CBS Money Watch Stock Update is brought to you by Buick.
As we continue to follow the Boston Firefighter Tragedy, we want to bring you what happened just a few moments ago at Engine 33, Ladder 15 on Boylston Street. Cardinal Sean O'Malley stopping to send his condolences to the colleagues of the two firefighters who were lost.
The whole community is very, very much moved by what has happened, and it underscores how the vocation of these men is to put their lives at risk to make us safe, and we all feel very, very grateful, very saddened by what has happened, and want to express our sympathy, our condolences, our solidarity with all of the men who work here, all of our firefighters and their families, who I'm sure at this time are all very, very much shaken by what has happened.
A little bit earlier in the afternoon, Patriots owner Robert Kraft stopped to share his thoughts as well.
John and I just wanted to thank these most underappreciated people in society, firemen, policemen, and nurses. Thanks.
So, of course, from everyday people to those leaders of their communities, the outpouring of grief continues on Boylston Street, and we'll follow all of these developments for you throughout the evening.
I'm sure the firefighters appreciate those visits
Certainly
as
do.
well. A startling headline today from the Centers for Disease Control. Researchers now say that autism rates are up nearly 30%.
1 in every 68 children is now diagnosed with a brain disorder, and for some insight on this, we want to welcome back our good friend, Dr. Mallika Marshall. It's just great to see you.
Nice having you back.
I'm so happy to be back.
We
I feel
missed
like
you.
I came home. I know, and sort of on the surface, these numbers sound pretty scary, but let me explain a little further. You know, right on the heels of a recent study suggesting that the brain abnormalities associated with autism may begin prenatally, the government has just issued a new report saying the number of children with autism continues to rise, now reaching about 1.2 million children and teens in the U.S. 11-year-old Aiden Burke has autism.
By a year and a half, he was not speaking. He had never called me Ma. He had never said Mama. He had never said Dada. He had no words whatsoever, and I knew that something was wrong.
The CDC has just released its newest numbers on autism. It's now estimated that 1 in 68 children may have some form of the disorder, a 30% increase from just 2 years earlier. The CDC looked at data on more than 5,000 8-year-olds in 11 states, not including New England. They found that while autism affects about 1 in 189 girls, it's almost 5 times more common in boys, closer to 1 in 42. The report did not address why more children are being diagnosed,
But experts believe these new numbers reflect an increase in awareness among parents, teachers, and physicians. More and more parents are bringing their children to doctors with concerns, and more minorities are being diagnosed than ever before, probably due to better access to care and advocacy.
Good job.
Also, a greater number of children who are considered higher functioning are being identified as having autism. Now, two things that haven't changed over recent years: children are still being diagnosed late, usually after the age of 4, even though earlier intervention may improve outcomes. And advocates worry that while more and more children are being diagnosed with autism, the funding has not risen accordingly. That's a big problem. So more kids to treat with less money.
Good to have you back. Don't stay away so long next time.
Okay, I'll come back next time.
Thanks,
Contributing medical information to the 5 o'clock news. We love it. Thank you, Mallika. So turning to weather now, we had that bright sunshine today, which looked beautiful, but didn't do much in the temperature department.
Well, I'm sure the folks on the Cape sure appreciated that sunshine today after what they came through in the last 24 hours. Eric Fisher joins us now. And Eric, you were down on the Cape, and that was some show.
It was unbelievable. You could talk to people in Boston. It was just a cold, windy day, but on the Cape they had a blizzard, and today they broke out the beach chairs. Sherry did appreciate that sunshine, sent in this picture, said finally got to use the beach chair. It's just not exactly what we all had in mind just yet. We'll get there, I promise. 46 degrees in Boston, by far the warm spot right now. 36 in Vineyard Haven. Plymouth checking in at 38. It's another very cool evening out there. Off to the south and west, there's a bit of milder air. We're going to tap into this pool for tomorrow. And yes, we too will finally get into the 50s, at least for a little while. Here's a look at the overall storm system. A lot of big thunderstorms developing up by St. Louis. Severe thunderstorms and tornadoes possible there. We won't get into that part of this storm. We will see the clouds increase tonight. And there may be just a touch of some freezing drizzle late tonight into early tomorrow morning as temperatures stay very close to the freezing mark. Here's a look at some of that moving its way through. A couple light batches here and there. Bottom line is be extra cautious traveling into tomorrow morning. Winter weather advisories out for that reason. Not expecting any major amounts, just a few slick spots. Now, in terms of tomorrow morning, there will be some sunshine still holding on. Temperatures in the 30s, not as cold as what we woke up to today. For midday, the clouds will start to thicken, becoming very gusty out of the southwest. But we are near 50 degrees, and most towns break across the 50-degree plane as we head into the afternoon. There'll also be some rain showers after lunch. Those will be moving in from west to east. Hit or miss in variety. The sun sets at 7:05. Make sure you have your umbrella before you head out the door, head off to work. You'll need it for the evening walk home. In terms of the timing of all of this, we head toward the noontime hour. The clouds moving their way in. Showers now into the Berkshires by around about the lunchtime time frame. By the evening, it's those hit or miss rain showers still moving across. That will continue until later in the overnight. Eventually, all that settles a little farther off to the south by Saturday morning, giving us a dry start to the weekend. Highs tomorrow, we will take it. 49 in Keene, 51 Fitchburg, 52 in Worcester, New Bedford, up to 52 degrees. It's the mildest day we've had for at least quite some time here. And then we go toward the weekend. Change in the pattern. This storm system is going to develop off the mid-Atlantic coast, but it's going to get cut off from a lot of the jet stream energy, which means it's going to sit and spin. It's also going to drag in quite a bit of moisture. So we're looking at late Saturday into Saturday night and Sunday and even Monday morning. These are rain totals. This is just a model, so it's more of guidance than anything else, but 2 to 4 inches of rain is looking like a pretty good bet right now. I do think we'll be dry Saturday morning. The rain moves in from south to north in the afternoon, and then a wet, raw, good movie day kind of Sunday is going to follow all of that. So our AccuWeather 7-day forecast, the rain will continue as we go toward Monday. It'll be more showery, but still very chilly with an onshore flow. And as we go toward the middle part of next week, we warm up a little bit. I understand it's not exactly what we all are dreaming of, but at least it is some improvements, and we know those days will come.
You know, those dreams did start in January.
They did. It's been a long time, but summer will be here, and we'll hit the beach, and we'll forget all about it.
All right, Eric.
Get there. Eric, thank you so much. And don't forget our spring preview special on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Eric and the rest of the weather team will show us all that we have to look forward to in the warmer weather.
Los Angeles police have arrested 6 people in a very big baggage theft investigation. This is troubling. Officers served 25 search warrants throughout Los Angeles last night, which they revealed, or say they revealed, jewelry, electronics, clothing, and other belongings which were taken out of baggage at LAX. Those arrested are all employees or ex-employees of a company that handles baggage at the airport.
New Jersey Governor Chris Christie did not play a role in a political payback scandal which created a traffic nightmare on the George Washington Bridge. This according to a new report created by lawyers hired by the governor's office. Other top administration officials were also cleared in the internal investigation. Democrats are questioning the results because key figures in the plot would not cooperate. Up next, We'll have some of the poignant images of the day from Boylston Street.
But first, let's check back with Jacqueline and Lisa to see what's coming up next at 6.
Hi, Jonathan and Paula, thank you. Yes, it's heavy on all of our minds today after the tragedy some 24 hours ago. And we continue to follow all of those developments. New information on the investigation is coming up as well.
And in the Back Bay, this loss is hitting people particularly hard. Tonight, Tom Brady shares his thoughts about the loss of these firefighters, and he thanks those who tried to save lives.
And a WBZ exclusive at 6 o'clock, how researchers from Woods Hole are playing a major role in trying to find that missing Malaysian jet liner. Stay tuned, we'll have that coming up.
Why are more people choosing Lamoureux Ford?
You get the price you have a budget for.
We told them what we needed our monthly payment to be, and they came through with that.
Focus, $199 per month with no money down. LamoureuxFord.com.
I went to a specialty flooring store. The selection was great, but so expensive. So I went direct. National Floors Direct.
At National Floors Direct, we'll beat anyone's price by 15% or it's free. Call 888-400-FLOOR for a free estimate.
Tell me about the Honda Civic. It's the most durable, longest-lasting car in its class.
Can I stay in touch?
Bluetooth and text message reader comes standard.
Does it rock?
Pandora compatibility, standard.
Where am I?
The Honda sales event of your dreams.
This is not a drill. Get a great deal during the Spring Into a Honda sales event. Now, at your Honda dealer.
Winter's in full swing, and Butchika's in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire is your place to gear up for ski and snowboarding this year. Come in, get expert advice from our knowledgeable and experienced staff, browse our huge selection, and take advantage of our low prices on the latest equipment. Plus, get a lift ticket to J-Peak with the purchase of any ski or snowboard package over $499. J-Peak, the most snow in Eastern North America. Butchika's Ski Shop, your skiing and riding connection, on Route 28 in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire.
Why are more people choosing Lamoureux Ford?
Some people I know feel intimidated coming to buy a car, but I feel like that at all here.
They're very friendly here. They're honest.
Escape, $289 per month with no money down. LamoureuxFord.com.
I want to thank you for joining us this evening at 5 o'clock. WBZ News at 6 o'clock is coming your way next.
We leave you with some poignant images of the day's tributes to our fallen heroes, Lieutenant Ed Walsh and firefighter Michael Kennedy.
From our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 6 starts right now.
The bell goes off, they respond. A city mourned. 2 Boston firefighters sacrificed their lives to save others.
It's just a lousy time right now.
Neighbors, fellow firefighters, and even complete strangers paused to pay their respects to Lieutenant Ed Walsh and firefighter Michael Kennedy.
It's very upsetting for the fire community. It's a small brotherhood of strong people.
While investigators working around the clock to learn what caused this tragic fire.
You're looking at live pictures now from Sky Eye 4, first responders preparing to line the streets and salute the body of fallen firefighter Michael Kennedy as it's moved from the city morgue to a funeral home in West Roxbury. And now a live look at Engine 33, Ladder 15 on Boylston Street. This firehouse mourning the loss of 2 brothers killed in the line of duty. People have been stopping at this station all day, offering their condolences. And we want to thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Lisa Hughes.
I'm Jack Williams. Tonight, the community is grieving as investigators try to search for what caused that deadly fire in the Back Bay. Now, we've learned that they are focusing on a heat source in the basement of the building. That's where both firefighters were overcome by a backdraft. Meanwhile, the roof of the Beacon Street brownstone where the fire raged has collapsed. The building is still too dangerous to go inside. The firehouse on Boylston Street where the first responders rushed out is draped with black bunting as a tribute to the two men who died. A memorial of flowers continues to grow right outside. Flags at fire stations around Massachusetts and New Hampshire have been lowered to half-staff, all to honor these fallen firefighters.
As we mentioned a moment ago, the body of fallen firefighter Michael Kennedy, he was just 33 years old, is being moved now from the city morgue in the South End to a funeral home in West Roxbury. And Beth Germano joins us live in Boston with the details. Beth?
Lisa, they are preparing for that now. Certainly a very somber and very solemn moment for the Boston Fire Department as they prepare to move Mike Kennedy's body here from the Boston mortuary where we are on Albany Street. This, of course, is the ultimate show of respect from his brother firefighters. A very impressive show of force here. Firefighters, police, there are onlookers, all making sure that Mike Kennedy is not alone on any step of this journey that began with that devastating wind-whipped fire in the Back Bay yesterday that claimed the life of not only Mike Kennedy, but also his fellow firefighter, Lieutenant Ed Walsh. They will follow the body through the streets of Boston in a procession to the funeral home, and beyond these cars, you can see they're going to be gathering firefighters on the sidewalk. They are going to be lining the sides of the streets with cars, and then that procession will follow through. Of course, Mike Kennedy's 33 years old, a 6.5-year veteran of the force, also a combat veteran. And we've learned a lot about him in the last 24 hours, just the kind of giving person that he is. His work with the Burn Foundation, his work with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, also a fitness enthusiast. So this is the ultimate show of respect and support for him. This is how the brother firefighters all come together to show Mike Kennedy their respect. We've been seeing it throughout the city today, seeing it at that firehouse, and as this investigation continues. The funeral home, ultimately where he will be laid to rest. We don't know yet what the final funeral arrangements are. They've been meeting with the families today to see how they want to deal with the funeral arrangements, and we expect to hear more about that. So we thought the procession would get underway about 6 o'clock. It may have been pushed back just a little bit. We'll let you know more as soon as it gets underway. Reporting live from Boston, I'm Beth Germano, WBZ News. Back to you.
All right, Beth, thank you. The deaths of Lieutenant Walsh and firefighter Kennedy have hit the city hard, especially in the Back Bay, which has gone through so much in just the past year. John Keller is live outside the Boylston Street firehouse where both of these men worked. John?
Well, Lisa, folks who know this Boylston Street corridor mainly as a restaurant mecca or as the home of the finish line of the marathon may not realize what a close-knit neighborhood this really is. And the firehouse here is a focal point of it. And today, even with all the famous names dropping by to pay their respects, it has seemed to us that the firefighters here have been most comforted by the embrace of their grieving neighbors. We all need somebody to The Berkeley College Choir had it right. This was a day for the grieving firefighters of Boylston Street to lean on their friends, family, and neighbors, like the folks from Shaw's Market up the street.
Well, we see them all when they come in. It's like, hey, hi, how are you? You know,
they're looking for a chuck roast and looking for something to cook, and it's like, and so often, they get back, and then you see them going back out. Right. So they'll be halfway through cooking, and then they're out somewhere, saving someone's life.
Students from the Boston Architectural College right next door came by with a wreath.
And they're a terrific group of guys who are here on the weekends, welcoming kids and families and supporting the neighborhood.
When our camera was invited in at midday, the gifts of food were piling up as the comrades of the fallen firefighters went about their work. A locker nameplate, mute testimony to their loss.
I talked to the guys in there. They said, we just want to go back out the door and do our job, because Eddie and Mike would want it that way.
And outside, it seemed like every passerby wanted to show their gratitude.
I came here to express my condolences to this two brave and warrior firefighter that tried to save lives.
I have the utmost respect for the firemen, and this really, it hits home. Just, it's really sad. I'm from New Hampshire, so it's close,
Now, in addition to the rising tide of flowers and commemorations outside the firehouse here, all along Boylston Street, neighbors, business people, and residents have posted handmade signs commemorating the sacrifice of those two firefighters. And on the side of the Lenox Hotel, just a few blocks down in this direction, there's a special banner that they put on the side of the hotel, playing off the famous Boston Strong slogan that emerged after the marathon bombings. It's a picture of a Boston Fire Department shield with a black mourning band across it. And the slogan is, Boston Grateful. Live in the Back Bay, John Keller at large, WBZ News. Jack, back to you.
John, thank you. Meanwhile, investigators are focusing on the basement of that building at 298 Beacon Street. Our chief correspondent, Joe Shortsleeve, continues our team coverage tonight. Joe's live right at the fire scene.
Yeah, Jack, we know tonight that the first report of a fire yesterday was a 911 call, something saying that there was smoke in the building. Now, we also know tonight there are no sprinklers in that building, technically not required, but boy, they sure could have made a difference yesterday. The focus tonight, the flames, and the 45-mile-an-hour winds. From the river, you can see the ice-encrusted shell, which housed 8 units. Yesterday, for some unknown reason, the brownstone exploded in flames, claiming the lives of 2 brave firefighters. Killed 43-year-old Lieutenant Ed Walsh and 33-year-old Michael Kennedy, who both worked just a few blocks away at the fire station on Boylston Street. Today, firefighters could be seen high above Beacon Street, inspecting the roof of the burnt-out structure. This, as residents who live right next door to 298 Beacon were allowed back into their homes.
It was scary.
Nate Fletcher lives directly across the street and took in terrified residents who escaped the burning building.
They said they smelled smoke, saw a fire, and then just got out of the house.
Investigators believe the 2 firefighters became trapped in a massive surge of heat and flames known as a backdraft. They believe it happened when a window broke in the front of the 4-story brownstone about 3 p.m. Wednesday.
There was some kind of extraordinary events happened in the basement.
When the flames exploded, firefighters could be heard on the radio, desperately trying to get everyone out.
Engine 33 has a mayday on channel 2 in the basement. Engine 33 is mayday on channel 2 in the basement, okay? I want all members out of the building.
It was a mayday, would indicate something extraordinary happened.
WBZ has learned there are 2 apartments in the walkout basement area on the river side of the building where Kennedy and Walsh became trapped. WBZ has also learned there's a heating unit, a laundry room, and an elevator located right there. The elevator was installed in 1996. All are possible sources of the fire. We also have learned tonight that this building is owned by a family trust, and that trust has been the source of a nasty legal dispute going all the way back to 1987. An attorney for that trust tells us tonight that they are cooperating with this investigation. Live in Boston, Joe Shortsleeve, WBZ News. Lisa?
Joe, thank you. More now on the 2 men who died. Lieutenant Ed Walsh came from a family of firefighters. Michael Kennedy was a Marine, a fitness buff, and a big brother in the Big Brother, Big Sisters program. Tonight, we're learning more about these men through the many lives they touched. And we begin with Christina Hager and the loss of Lieutenant Ed Walsh.
They say his tall stature made for an imposing presence, but with a gentle demeanor. Today, firefighters were in and out of Lieutenant Ed Walsh's home, one man with a salute and a lowering of the family's flag halfway down.
Our condolences go out to all the family, and especially those 3 little kids that are without their dad now.
This the morning after the men of Engine 33 walked along both sides of his hearse from the hospital to the morgue. 2 of Walsh's 3 young children attended school today, where there were grief counselors at the ready. There are flags at half-staff like this all over the Commonwealth, but this hits home particularly hard here in Watertown, where Walsh comes from a long line of firefighters. His late father, Ed Walsh, in the middle, 2 uncles, Bill and Tom, all Watertown firefighters. One of Walsh's cousins is a captain here.
There's a strong firefighting tradition in that family.
Watertown Chief Mario Arangio with a black stripe on his badge.
He's the kind of guy that if I had a son, I would hope he'd turn out to be like Eddie.
Someone stopped to leave a wreath and flags at a memorial here. Another fallen son of Watertown. Another fallen hero of Boston and beyond. Christina Hager, WBZ News.
I'm Katie Brace. Take one look at Michael Kennedy's picture and you'll see a smile everyone who knew him talks about.
He just elevated everybody.
Lisa Markland was a close friend and a CrossFit coach with Kennedy.
He loved doing CrossFit. He loved being a firefighter. And he treated everybody with that love.
She and many others are trying to cope with the news that Kennedy was killed in Wednesday's 9-alarm fire. The 33-year-old had 6.5 years with Boston Fire. Before that, he served as a Marine and had seen combat.
I could not believe that happened. He's a very strong guy.
Shelley White worked with Kennedy at the gym and was his neighbor in Hyde Park.
Sometimes we take for granted that people are just going to be there.
Kennedy was physically a big guy, but his stature was not always intimidating.
What is the names they call him is dork? He just was always doing something kind of dorky, something kind of quirky.
He volunteered with the Boston Firefighters Burn Foundation and worked with the Big Brothers Big Sisters organization. Alex Bazil became his little brother 7 years ago.
He was actually my real brother. He was helpful to us as we now be helpful to his family.
Kennedy rushed to help the victims of the Boston Marathon bombings. This year, he was set to run in the marathon that passes his firehouse on Boylston Street. Katie Brace, WBZ News.
A fund has been set to try to help the families of those 2 men who died. Donations can be sent to the Lieutenant Walsh Firefighter Kennedy Memorial Fund, Boston Firefighters Credit Union, 60 Hallett Street in Dorchester, 02124. Now, if you didn't get a chance to write that down, you can go to our website, cbsboston.com. It's intriguing to know the firefighters from that Boylston Street station were among the first responders to the marathon bombings almost a year ago. And organizers of the One Fund for the marathon victims are now urging people to give to the Firefighters Fund.
Tom Brady lives just a few doors from the fire scene. A Boston Globe photographer captured this image of the Patriots quarterback walking away from 298 Beacon yesterday. Brady said he watched the scene throughout the night from his roof. And this morning he told listeners on WEEI the tragedy hits close to home.
The firemen who risked their lives, that's who I just can't pay enough respect toward. And I drive by the fire station in the Back Bay on Hereford and Boylston, and you drive, driven by that fire station thousands of times in all my years in the Back Bay.
Brady says he and his family have the firefighters in their thoughts and prayers. He also thanked them for keeping his family and his neighbors safe. We hope you'll stay with us here at WBZ for continuing coverage of this tragedy in our community. For updates anytime or to leave your condolences, go to our website, cbsboston.com.
Coming up, breaking news from the New England Patriots. This is big when we come back. A decision on Vince Wilfork and his future with the Patriots.
And a WBZ exclusive, the missing Malaysian Airlines jet. Researchers from Woods Hole now playing a major role in trying to find the wreckage.
And the body of firefighter Michael Kennedy is about to be moved to a funeral home. Fellow firefighters and others are gathering at the scene. We'll keep an eye on this and we'll bring you any developments during our newscast.
Umbrella is the most cleanable fabric we've ever offered. In my opinion, it's the most durable upholstery fabric in the world. And it comes in hundreds of styles and colors, resists stains and fading. You can even clean it with bleach, and it's only at Jordan's.
A man pioneers a way to see the unseen. Radar, forever providing safer journeys. The Mazda 6 uses radar in its available class-exclusive suite of 7 safety features for greater confidence behind the wheel. Introducing the Mazda 6. What do you drive? Now, lease the 2014 Mazda 6 Sport for $199 a month for 36 months.
Show me the movies with the Arnold Schwarzenegger, with the stunts and loud explosions and all the muscles.
I want to see the comedy programming with the people sitting in the living room with the children. What's brother? Yeah, I want to see the Real Housewives. Right, play. All right, rewind, play.
Jimmy, please. It's been hours. We told you the X1 Entertainment operating system really does work with any voice.
Cool. What's on now?
Control your TV with your voice. The X1 Entertainment operating system. Only from Xfinity.
Where's my lights? When you get a new Buick, you want to show it off. You're invited to the Buick Open House event, where for the first time, select 2014 Buick models are specially priced, so you can get thousands off MSRP. Current non-GM owners use your special value pricing to lease this 2014 Verano for around $199 per month. Find your dealer at BuickDealer.com.
The sun is setting on the Toyota #1 for everyone national sales event. The final days to save with #1 deals so everyone can drive away with legendary Toyota value. Final days to lease Camry, America's #1 dependable midsize car, for a lowest ever $158 a month with no cost maintenance included. Or get 0 for 60 plus $1,000 bonus cash on Camry. #1 for everyone ends March 31st. Toyota. Let's go places.
Right now at Jordan's, with any Sunbrella sofa or sectional, you'll get a free spring cleaning from our friends the Maids. The industry leader, voted Best of Boston from Boston Magazine. It's a $400 value, yours free. Sofas start at just $7.99.
Well, it's been nearly 3 weeks now since that Malaysian Airlines jet vanished with 239 people on board, and crews continue to search for the plane in the southern Indian Ocean.
Researchers from Woods Hole helped find the wreckage of an Air France jet 2 years after it crashed. And tonight, Bill Shields talks exclusively to the Woods Hole team, now working to find the Malaysian jet.
It may look like a simple yellow submarine, but inside are some of the most sophisticated electronics in use today. But can it find a missing airliner?
This can go down, probably, well, it's 6,000 meters, approximately 18 to 20,000 feet down.
It was built by scientists at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute. And it found the black box from the Air France jet that crashed in the Atlantic in 2009.
With Air France, there were a lot more clues as to where the plane was. They had a last known position.
But scientists from Woods Hole weren't even asked to help search for the Air France remains until 1 year later. Still, they launched their underwater vehicle and 8 days later found the jet, despite looking in an underwater mountain range.
It's rugged, it's pitch black, but it's something we're used to. It's a fairly routine type of underwater volcanic terrain that we're used to dealing with.
The Reba 6000 uses side-scan sonar to form a picture of the ocean floor, even if there's a mountain range down there.
What that sonar is capable of doing is getting a return on any hard objects that are out on either side of the vehicle.
And now there are optimistic signs that satellites may have picked up the final ping from the Malaysian jet in a specific area over the Indian Ocean.
The search area keeps being narrowed down.
If the Air France crash is any example, then searchers in the Indian Ocean need to narrow their search down to about a 40 or 50 mile radius area before the people from Woods Hole can even be called in. In Woods Hole, I'm Bill Shields, WBZ News.
Well, let's talk about the weather. Winds have finally died down and temperatures are beginning to warm a little.
Yeah, and the sunshine, a nice balm. But Eric, it sounds like we're in for an awful lot of rain.
Yeah, quite a bit. It's been a very dry March, as a matter of fact. So I guess we could say we could use some, but you never like to see it all come in one chunk. And that's what's going to happen later on this weekend. For tonight, we've got a storm system off to our west. A lot of thunderstorms down towards, say, West Tennessee, around here. We're still in the dry weather. Still a good amount of sunshine. Eventually, we're looking at some starlight. A lot of this precip off to our west is just going to graze us and move off across northern New England later on tonight. So we'll see some increasing cloudiness, just a touch of freezing drizzle or a couple of snowflakes possible, and temperatures that'll hover close to the freezing mark. We do have winter weather advisories for this as it moves through. Again, I think it'd just be a little tiny bit of freezing drizzle, a sleet pellet or a snowflake, but there could be some icy travel in here in northern Worcester County and certainly up into Vermont and New Hampshire. Now for tomorrow, we'll track rain showers, and there will be some sun mixing in, especially in the morning, but mostly cloudy in the afternoon, very gusty, and then we'll see these scattered raindrops. Doesn't look like it's just going to be a big shield of rain that moves across, but you do want to have your umbrella handy. It goes through the evening, and then eventually we dry it a little bit as we head into the overnight hours and for early on Saturday. So temperatures tomorrow, a little bit of a treat. We're into the 50s for most towns, so the mild weather compared to the bitter cold we've seen for the last couple. And in terms of the winds, very gusty out of the southwest, 25 to 35 miles per hour, so that will couple in with some of those milder temps. For this weekend, here comes the next storm system. This one is not necessarily a big cold nor'easter, but it is going to be a coastal storm. It's going to sit and it's going to spin, especially late Saturday into Sunday and into Monday. We're still on the mild side Saturday, drier in the morning. The rain moves in the second half, and then a cold, wet, windy day on Sunday. So here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Could see 2 to 4 inches of rain before that one all wraps up late on Monday. And then we dry out for a touch on Tuesday and Wednesday. Looks like it might get stormy again late next week. We hope not, because believe it or not, with all the cold, the Sox start next Friday at home. My goodness. Jack, Lisa, back to you.
Boy, that's hard to believe, Eric. Thank you. Well, this certainly has been some winter. Our weather team is working on a special looking ahead to spring, thank heavens. It's called Eye on Weather Spring Preview. That'll run Saturday at 7 o'clock in the evening right here on WBZ.
And we are going to have some breaking news from the New England Patriots. Big news.
For a big guy, when we come back, a decision on Vince Wilfork and his future with the Patriots.
And the body of firefighter Michael Kennedy is about to be moved to the funeral home in West Roxbury. Firefighters and police officers will escort the body, and we'll keep you updated on this journey.
Today's a sad day for the city of Boston. We lost 2 heroes.
It is the worst possible news. 2 Boston firefighters have been killed.
It's something that none of us want to see. In 30 years, I've never seen a fire travel that fast.
My prayers and my thoughts go out to the families.
Lieutenant Ed Walsh and firefighter Michael Kennedy.
With heavy hearts, a lot of people now are going by that station.
We wanted to help out and let them know that we appreciate what they do for us.
That's what we do. We sacrifice our life for the citizens of the city of Boston.
American-owned, family-operated. Since 1829. No bull. Just lager. From America's oldest brewery, Yingling.
You know what the #1 ice cream flavor is? Vanilla. Yeah? Good old Proud Beezy vanilla. Some people can't get enough. But if you're in the mood for something tasty, then test drive one of these.
Current non-GM owners test drive a Cadillac and receive a $100 Cadillac Visa prepaid card and lease this 2014 SRX for around $379 per month with nothing due at signing.
In your own backyard, your incredible state university system, 9 institutions, 300 academic programs, more than 50,000 students, 10,000 degrees awarded annually. In the past 5 years, 5,000 science and technology degrees, 4,000 healthcare degrees, 11,000 teaching degrees. 84% of graduates stay in Massachusetts, building the innovation economy for tomorrow's Commonwealth, for tomorrow's you.
It's Sleepy's biggest beauty rest sale ever. Get every beauty rest on sale, like Simmons Queen mattress sets starting as low as $2.99. Get beauty rest queen sets for just $4.99. Only at Sleepy's, the mattress professionals.
The biggest event in college basketball is here. Catch all the action this March on WBZ. Sponsored locally by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Get ready. Wherever spring finds you, a Subaru with symmetrical all-wheel drive can help you enjoy it. Get ready for spring in a brand new Subaru Outback. Awarded Top Safety Pick Plus by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Drive home a brand new Subaru Outback. Well equipped for only $23,795. Plus, get 0% financing for up to 36 months. Get a great deal and go love spring.
Aspen Dental, your mouth, our mission.
In a crowd of light beers, how long does it take to find the Yingling Light Lager? About that long. 99 calories, 100% authentic lager. Yingling Light Lager. Rethink your light beer.
Well, we like like to hear this about a player we enjoy watching.
So, big guy's going to be sticking around, you think?
As far as we know, yes. Like to see that. All right, yeah, we get some good news tonight. For Patriots fans, it appears Vince Wilfork is staying put. Reports have the Pats asking the Pro Bowler to take a pay cut, and then Wilfork asking for his release because of it. But it appears the two sides have agreed now on a restructured, reported one-year, $8 million deal with $3 million guaranteed, plus options for 2 more years. And here's what Wilfork tweeted just a few minutes ago, saying, quote, 10 years ago, my goal was to retire a Patriot, and as I sit here typing this, I am closer to achieving my goal. I look forward to getting back to football and helping my team compete and have a chance at winning a Super Bowl. So add Wilfork to the mix coming off the Achilles injury, with Revis, with Browner, with that defense young and improving. Things looking very good for the Patriots going forward.
We like some good news.
Yes, we'll take it.
Thank you, Dan Rhodes.
Today.
Well, the body of firefighter Michael Kennedy is now about to be moved to a funeral home. Again, the firefighters have lined up to escort to make sure that he is not alone. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Harlem Globetrotters, playing at TD Garden on Saturday, March 29th and Sunday, March 30th. Purchase tickets at the box office or online at Ticketmaster.com.
What is this stuff? Tastes stale. Where's the flavor?
Ladies, if you're drinking gas station coffee, then that's not your coffee. New England, get your coffee at Honeydew.
Bingo!
Don't miss the Bach Honda Spring into a Honda sales event at one of our 2 great locations. Bach Honda on the Auto Mile, Route 1 in Norwood, or Bach Honda West on Littleton Road in Westford, Mass. Drive home a brand new Honda Civic for just $39 per month. That's right, lease a brand new Honda Civic for just $39 per month. 2 great Bach Honda locations, 1 legendary low Bach Honda price.
We're all born with it. That youthful curiosity and certain sense of adventure. It doesn't matter where it takes you, only that you go. Sometimes we just forget it's there. And sometimes your best adventures begin with someone who can see you're up for one. Nova Scotia, take yourself there.
It's award season. So what do Dodge and I have in common? They love a 4-wheel drive. I love a 4-letter word. Dodge has fabulous engineers. I mean, they're so good. I hired them to do my next phase. I used to babysit the Dodge brothers. Awful kids. Anyhow, I gotta go. My face is melting. Ice! I need ice!
Well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2014 Dodge Journey SE all-wheel drive for $169 a month.
Imagine finding the furniture you love at low sale prices. Now imagine upgrading to your choice of fabric at no extra charge. It's all possible at the Boston Interiors Custom Upholstery Sale. All our upholstery is made in the USA from quality materials you can trust to last. And this month only, it's all on sale. All chairs, sofas, sleepers, and sectionals. Plus, custom order any available fabric at the same price as stock. Come in soon and save. Sale ends March 31st.
Honda CR-V. We've got great deals during the Spring Into a Honda sales event.
Slow down, hotshot.
The CR-V has a rear-view camera, Bluetooth, Pandora compatibility, all standard.
Is that it?
And the CR-V is the most durable in its class.
Are those McPherson struts?
Indeed.
Nice work, Smith.
This is not a drill. Get a great deal during the Spring Into a Honda sales event. Now at your Honda dealer.
Introducing Honeydew's newest breakfast sandwich. A savory Western omelet topped with cheese on a freshly baked cheddar biscuit. Try this or any other delicious breakfast sandwich and get a medium hot or iced coffee for just 99 cents.
Honeydew, we've got your breakfast.
The procession about to begin for fallen firefighter Michael Kennedy. Our Beth Germano live in Boston. Beth?
Lisa, we are outside the mortuary here on Albany Street, and they will make the 7-mile journey to the West Roxbury Funeral Home. Firefighters are lining the sidewalk, police and fire vehicles are lining the street, in a procession that will include Ladder 15, on which Kennedy served his last tour of duty yesterday fighting the Back Bay fire and becoming trapped in the basement within minutes with his fellow firefighter, Lieutenant Edward Walsh. It's an impressive show of respect here as firefighters in their own way let Mike Kennedy know that he is not alone. There was, of course, a similar show at the hospital last night when his body arrived there. This bond in the firefighting community, as we all know, is so deep, and the call went out this afternoon for a procession, and it didn't take long for fellow firefighters to answer the call. So there are onlookers here as well from the city. All this also lets the families know how much support they have. Reporting live from Boston, I'm Beth Germano, WBZ News. Back to you.
Yeah, we owe a big gratitude, a big debt of thanks to these two very brave men.
Terrible loss for our city, our whole community, and we will continue to follow this story for you here on WBZ.